In the frozen silence of the Himalayas, a mother-to-be searches for refuge. Each step she takes is carried by instinct, a quiet act of courage against the winter storm. Beneath the storm's distant roar, a fragile life awakens. Tiny and trembling, the cub takes its first breaths, guided only by the warmth of its mother. At just a few weeks old, this snow leopard cub is taking its first steps into the world beyond the den. The morning sun melts winter's grip, spilling gold across the Himalayan stones.
In the thin air of the Himalayan summer, a young snow leopard takes her first steps alone. Every movement is practice, every sound a lesson, like this rustle in the grass. A pika, quick as lightning. Her leap is powerful but off the mark. Accuracy will come.
Summer winds send ripples through the high grass and across the little one's coat. On the cliff edge, every step matters. Each place of a paw is measured, precise.
In the gentle calm of spring, a silent shadow begins its hunt, long before the cub knows fear.
In a heartbeat, talons find the cub, yet a mother's strike sends the hunter crashing back to earth. Thrown into fierce combat, predator and protector collide in a struggle that shakes the hillside.
At last, the wounded eagle retreats, leaving mother and cub safe beneath the gentle light of spring.
Now stronger in the warmth of summer, the young cub begins to test the instincts it will one day rely upon. Each attempt guides. With each chase across these meadows, the cub begins to learn the rhythm of survival.
Here among shifting grass, the cub refines the balance it will one day need upon the cliffs.
With a single bold leap, the cub begins to discover the courage rising within it. From the safety of higher ground, the cub learns how danger moves across its world.
Beneath circling wings, the cub discovers the strength and safety of its mother's presence.
As autumn's first winds sweep the ridge, the young leopard begins to sense a harsher world ahead.
With autumn deepening, the young leopard begins to read the changing signs carried on the wind.
Among the hard autumn stone, the young leopard learns the feel of the cliffs beneath its paws.
On these autumn ridges, the young leopard learns the quiet discipline that shapes every hunter.
As autumn fades, the young leopard begins to feel winter waiting just beyond the ridge.
In the fading warmth of autumn, a young leopard makes its first uncertain step toward becoming a hunter.
Inexperience turns speed into missteps, but every stumble teaches the young hunter how to rise again.
With explosive force, the young leopard's instinct erupts in a single decisive strike.
In a blur of motion, the young hunter strikes true. Yet speed and instinct still carry the hare beyond its grasp.
In the quiet light of autumn, the young leopard earns its first true meal.
As winter's first snow falls,
the young leopard begins to understand the mountain's colder face.
In winter's deep silence, the young leopard learns to move with patience and care.
On the frozen slope, the young leopard learns how winter reshapes every step. In winter's bitter wind, warmth becomes the lesson every young leopard must learn.
In fresh snow, each track becomes a story the young leopard learns to read.
At winter's edge, the young leopard begins to step toward its own independence.
Step by silent step, the young leopard learns how winter turns every movement into a test of patience.
When the wind shifts, the mountains speak, and prey learns danger is near.
The baral stands with its back to the threat, unaware of the young predator drawing a bead on it. In a heartbeat, the stillness breaks. A decisive leap. Its teeth lock onto the baral's hind leg, the first step in a perilous fight.
In the frozen hush of winter, the young leopard begins its first true meal of the season.
With growing strength, the young leopard begins to shape the rhythm of its own path.
With each passing day, the young leopard feels the widening distance carried on the mountain wind. Across the hard autumn stone, the young leopard learns to rely on its own growing strength.
In its first solitary pursuit, the young leopard tastes both the thrill and the humility of the hunt.
On a ridge swept by winter wind, the young leopard feels the quiet moment when childhood ends.
With spring's return, the young leopard steps into a life shaped now by its own strength.
And with each step along the warming ridge, the young leopard begins to claim the mountains as its own.
In the quiet grass of spring, the young leopard learns the stillness that turns patience into power. From the height of the spring cliffs, the young leopard begins to learn the power of patience and position. At the height of spring, the young leopard readies the leap that will define its strength. Upon the highest spring summit, the young leopard stands at last as master of its own mountain world.